because she wasn't the dog that I thought she was.
All right. All right. For Judging Judy. All right.
Hello and welcome to Judging Judy, the podcast that finally turns the tables on America's least favorite TV judge. Today's episode comes to us from the simpler but no less evil days of 1996, November 14th specifically. Our cases are about an engagement ring for a failed engagement and a dog with missing toes. But before we jump into them, I just have some advice. It's sink or swim, or float, depending on your buoyancy. To help remind us what was going on in the world back on November 14th, 1996, I brought in my friend, Professor Wikipedia, doctorate in Post Malone Taste Twist Oreos. Tomb Raider was released in North America for the Sega Saturn and MS-DOS. Tomb Raider was praised for its innovative 3D graphics, controls, and gameplay, with its main character, Lara Croft, becoming something of a cultural icon. A fan-made patch allowed players to see Lara Croft nude, resulting in lawsuits and other legal action from the game's publishers, even though management had actually initially pressured the game's developers to include a code that would unlock the very same feature, perhaps understanding that just as sex sells, so do pointy pixelated polygons. Ontario Mills Mall opened in Ontario, California. Built across from the now demolished Ontario Motor Speedway, the mall's history reflects America's retail apocalypse and is filled with the ghosts of no longer extant businesses, including a Steve & Barry's, a Wolfgang Puck Cafe, a Virgin Records megastore, a Toys R Us, and a Sports Authority. Surprisingly, the Rainforest Cafe at Ontario Mills, the restaurant I would go to if I were ever on the Doughboys podcast, has not closed. So the next time you're in the mood for some Rasta pasta, mojo bones, mojo bones that is, or a volcanic Cobb salad, why not give Rainforest Cafe a visit? But do it fast, because I don't think this place will survive much longer trying to sell $40 jungle steak and shrimps. The 1996 MTV Europe Music Awards aired from London, England, with Robbie Williams hosting and Metallica performing. Prior to the show, MTV executives notified the band that profanity and pyrotechnics weren't permitted during their performance. In response, the band changed their setlist to include songs that contained numerous expletives and referenced rape, murder, and bestiality. And that's just one of many reasons no one should have felt bad about using Napster. Thanks for the help, Professor Wikipedia. Next, let's take a look at the New York Times crossword for November 14th, 1996. The clue for 8 down is once mighty initials, and the answer is USSR. Finally, we'll take a look at the US box office for that day back in 1996. I only have one entry, and it's number 1, and again, it's Independence Day, which means it's time for our occasional feature, Ambling on eBay for movie merchandise. Do you have $49.99 or best offer, plus about $15 for shipping? If so, you could be the proud owner of a Bill Pullman signed Thomas J. Whitmore action figure. Now, the toy itself looks nothing like Bill Pullman. It looks like a Ken doll's insurance agent named Ben. The box is still sealed, but it's not in good condition, suggesting that its previous owner had no respect for our fictional 42nd president, Thomas J. Whitmore. But right there, right on the front, you can clearly see a bunch of squiggly lines that may in fact be Bill Pullman's signature, which, if it's real, he probably gave under great duress at a Hollywood gas station, salad shop, or proctologist's office. Thank you for your service, President Whitmore. All right, let's get to the teaser for today's episode.
You were engaged for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I prefer to measure time in terms of Great British Bake Off season, so they were engaged about 1.5 season 2s.
And then you both decided that this wasn't working.
Have you tried unplugging it and then plugging it back in?
It was going downhill from the day it started.
Like the Trump administration, actually that was going downhill well before it started. It kind of had a head start, actually. Okay, let's get to today's cases.
Raymond Crawford paid $7,500 for Regina Viscomi's engagement ring when they fell in love. She gave him back $5,000 when they fell out.
And you do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's how you end an engagement.
I always get a little sad when I have a case involving an engagement ring because I never got one.
That makes perfect sense.
We've done it. We've discovered Judy's origin story. All that evil, all that malfeasance, all that yelling, and all because she didn't get an engagement ring. The whole world is set to suffer because she didn't get an engagement ring. She made millions of dollars because she didn't get an engagement ring. It's crazy because I think that's the same origin story for the Penguin from Batman. And now that I think about it, I've never seen Judy and the Penguin in the same place at the same time. Anyway, we learned that Regina picked the ring herself as she had some connections to the diamond business, which makes her sound like a villain too. Also, I have it on good authority that after filming wrapped up, Judy definitely used Regina's diamond business connections to finally get that ring she always wanted. Despite spending $7,700 on the ring, the engagement went, as Judy puts it, kaput. Now, I'm not saying there's a direct connection between how much you spend on a ring and the likelihood that the relationship will work out. But I am saying that the things would have gone a lot better for Raymond if he had spent an even $8,000.
Your penny-pinching rampage has gone too far.
Judy asks Raymond how long they'd been engaged. And while not answering the question, he does provide some helpful context.
From November of '94, when we went to Palm Springs, and the date was going downhill from the moment we got engaged.
Now, to be fair to both of them, if they'd gotten engaged while riding the Palm Springs aerial tramway, and let's say it was at the highest point along the tram, then there was literally nowhere to go from there but downhill.
Going down.
Regina says that his comments about things going downhill from the get-go is untrue.
How can it go downhill when you just get engaged to be married? That is the happiest time of your life.
Huh. Besides the tramway? I mean, maybe if he engaged while you guys were riding a tandem bike down a ramp, or maybe if he proposed while you guys were at the top of a slide, like a water slide.
Isn't it every girl's dream?
The proposal was in November. By March, she gave him $5,000 in lieu of the ring, marking the end of their engagement. The two disagree about who decided to end the engagement, with both claiming it was the other one's choice, and Raymond again saying it was going downhill from the start, perhaps suggesting that the special moment happened right before the beginning of a soapbox derby race.
Because you hadn't a clue that things weren't going well.
No, I thought things were going well because February 14th, and I have the proof right here to show that I thought things were going well. I have love letters, I have cards, I have a Valentine's card.
Yeah, but it was a Looney Tunes Valentine's Day card, and it had the Tasmanian devil on it, and he was saying, "Loving you makes me crazy." So maybe Raymond was trying to tell you something. Regardless of who wanted to break things off, Raymond says she wouldn't give him the ring back, despite many requests. She did, however, again, give him that $5,000 check, which the judge asked to take a look at.
When I asked for the ring, she says, "This is what you're going to get, and be glad that's all you're getting."
I genuinely wonder what the resale value of the ring was. The whole industry is, of course, a notorious scam with inflated retail prices and artificially constrained supply. It was even worse in the 90s before people opened up more to having an artificial diamond. Is it possible that $5,000 is actually more than the ring was worth?
Absolutely, yeah.
Though he would have preferred to have the ring back, he still deposited her check, and he says he used the money from the check to pay off the loan he took out to pay for the ring.
I felt that I shouldn't be penalized every month with a bill as a result of the relationship.
Judy says she agrees with Raymond, at least in principle, that when the engagement ended, Regina ought to have given Raymond the ring back, that she shouldn't have used it to disappear at opportune times and hide from the ring wraiths. However, Raymond complicated things by taking her money for it instead.
You didn't mark this in partial payment of $7,700. You accepted it, you cashed it, and you used it to pay off the credit union, to do whatever. Something must have happened within the intervening 2 years that brought you here today.
It was probably a casting call for people willing to air their dirty laundry in return for the chance to be on TV and maybe get a little money. I think that's how most people wound up on the show, Judy. I don't think a group of sentient tree people picked him up and dropped him off at the studio.
This is not our war.
Raymond says that because he wanted the ring back, he told Regina the same night that she gave him the check that he was going to take her to small claims court, where the claims may be small, but the judges, generally speaking, are of average size. Now, if you believe Raymond, Regina then challenged him to go ahead and take her to small claims court. If you believe Regina, this conversation never happened. Regardless, Judy asks what happened after this conversation did or did not happen.
She was renting my condominium at the time. And I have a copy of the
Just
lease.
tell me, put all the papers down.
She says, go ahead and take me to small claims court. The rent is $900. You take me to court, I'm gonna stop paying rent on you. It'll take you 3 to 4 months to get your money out from losing or loss of rent.
I'm a little confused, but if I follow, if she stopped paying rent on the condo, he could kick her out and then rent it out to someone else, thereby making up the money and negating her threat, maybe? Anyway, Judy says that he's saying he was coerced into not pursuing a legal remedy he had that was rightfully his. So ignore everything I said a few breaths ago.
I already forgot about it.
Since he didn't take her to court, Regina lived in that condo for another 1.5 years.
So then you waited for her to move out, and then you decided to pursue the ring.
With that, Judy turns things over to Regina, who kicks things off by saying that 1 month after he broke up with her, they got back together and stayed together.
And we slept together, and we were together, and we did ski trips, and we did this, and we went to the Caribbean, and we went to Maui, and we did all these fun things, and he never once brought that ring up.
Well, how could he have? He had a snorkel in his mouth. I mean, when you were in Maui, not when you were sleeping together, though, hey, I'm not kink shaming.
How would that even work?
Judy repeatedly asks Raymond if they recommenced the relationship after the engagement was off. And after a bunch of evasive, irrelevant, and annoying answers, he confirms that that's true.
Yes, and she dated other people at the time.
That's fine.
Well, sure, it's not like you were married. As it turns out, Regina has since sold the ring. Judy asks how much she got for it. And then, like a flight attendant with vertigo trying to explain where the emergency exits are, she gives Regina some helpful advice.
Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Don't look at your toes. Look over here.
Okay.
Eventually, we find out she sold the ring for $7,000. So, to be honest, more than I thought she'd get, but still a 10% drop from what she had purchased, what Raymond had purchased it for.
And I owed my ex-boss, which Ray knows exactly about, a commission of $1,000.
Listen to me.
That's highly unusual.
Did you just get engaged to get kickbacks from the boss? Because while that is, of course, unconscionable, it's also a really shrewd move. Good for you, Regina.
That you put your blood and sweat into finding just the right ring and getting just the right diamond and just the right stone for the best value. So how can you tell me that within a relatively short period of time you sold the ring for less than what you paid for it?
Judy, I get that you didn't get an engagement ring, but how can you possibly be ignorant of the fact that the whole industry is a scam? Rings are like Hummers. They lose value as soon as you take them off the lot. And they're real gas guzzlers. And the more you spend on one, the dumber you look. Regina explains that she prioritized getting rid of the ring and all the bad memories associated with it, rather than trying to get the maximum money for it.
Get it away from me.
Judy asks if Regina thinks it's fair that she didn't return the ring that was given to her as part of the verbal contract they made by way of their engagement.
You may have felt some inner feeling about not wanting somebody else to wear a ring that you spent your time and effort in locating the perfect stone. You didn't take it and throw it in the Pacific.
She didn't want another woman to get married and wear that ring, and the same thing goes for other sea lions too. Regina says she does think it's fair, and Judy wants to hear why.
If Ray were to sell the ring on his own, in any consignment situation or off the street when a couple walks into us and they say, hey, this engagement fell through, the marriage is over, we're divorced, give me some money for this ring. In most cases, 9 out of 10 cases, they get 33% of the value of the ring.
She goes on to say that giving him $5,000 was more than fair. And 65%, which is $5,000, is certainly more than 33%. Quick summary here. If she gave him $5,000 and she sold the ring for $7,000, she made $2,000 from her failed engagement. Whereas he bought a ring for $7,700 and was given $5,000 for it, which means less any interest or anything like that, he's in the hole $2,700 for it. Now, if he had sold the ring himself and got 33% of the value, he would have gotten about $2,500 for it, which means he would have been in the hole $5,159. So if I follow, she's saying he's about $2,500 better off for having just been given $5,000 up front. Maybe I should have cut that. Maybe this isn't interesting. Is this interesting? Email or comment, and if you want to email, it's at judgingjudypod@gmail.com if you thought that was interesting.
That's ridiculous. Of course it was.
Now, be all of that as it may, I have a feeling that Judy's going to say that it wasn't her decision to make, to keep the ring or give him $5,000, all of that he bought the ring and it should have been returned to him. Whew. Now, Regina adds that the commission she paid her ex-boss was $1,000. So she actually only made $1,000, which changes all of that math I made above.
So
What kind of commission?
because Glenn felt, and you know this, Ray, Glenn felt that because I was getting such a good deal, because I was his employee, that he should get some sort of kickback for giving me the contacts in the industry.
What a strange arrangement to make with anybody. Never mind your employee. Hey, I heard you need a ring. Give me $1,000 and I'll connect you with people who can get you a deal. Was he also willing to whack a few guys if they looked at her wrong?
Let me tell you something.
So at the time of sale, I gave him $1,000, okay? And I kept $1,000 because I took the time, 2 days off of work, and look what I'm doing here today. My store is closed.
All right, but the more you're talking, the more it sounds like an elaborate scheme. Exactly how many failed engagements have you had, Regina?
If I believe you, that's $1,000 you're not entitled to.
Whoa, 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 whoa. With the people this lady's ex-boss knows, those are dangerous, dangerous words, Judy. Just watch out. I mean, the last TV judge to say that kind of thing to Regina got himself canceled, if you know what I mean. We come back from a break with Judy saying she's still having trouble wrapping her head around the fact that this seemingly capable businesswoman would, driven by emotion alone, sell a ring that had been appraised at $10,000 and only get $7,000 for it. And I say there are just two possibilities, and they're not even mutually exclusive. Well, number one, the whole industry is a scam, which it is. Or this engagement was a scam, which it may be. Judy asks why Raymond should find himself down any money at all.
Because he hurt me. He ended our relationship. Well, I mean, and it was my ring.
They must have asked the audience to chime in here because I don't think it deserved whoos or ahs. Maybe a...
Okay, I thought, and I did read this in Ann Landers one time, that if he breaks up with you, then you're entitled to keep the ring.
2 points here. This isn't Judge Ann Landers, okay, Regina? Second, if you're going to trust an advice columnist, don't trust Ann Landers. Trust Sincerely Sydney. Look it up. Anyway, Judy assures Regina that she has a high opinion of Ann Landers, which is strange because compared to Sincerely Sydney, Ann Landers is an outright joke. However, Judy says she wouldn't base legal decisions on things she read in Ann Landers' column.
Now, if I were writing a column, I would bet my legal future on that.
Yeah, and if she were drawing Garfield, you bet she would have a case of the Mondays. And if she were drawing Kathy, you bet she would act. But we don't live in that world, Regina. As much as we wish we did, we don't live in a world where Judy draws Calvin and Hobbes and gets to pee on things. That's just not our reality.
That's very disappointing.
Judy says that initially, she was inclined to believe that Raymond took the $5,000 and called it a day, and that the subsequent claim to the remainder was made in bad faith.
I've had second thoughts. Even I can have second thoughts. I don't see why the defendant should be enriched on your back.
Getting enriched on someone's back, is that like getting a tramp stamp? The judge says that if she believed Regina gave her ex-boss the $1,000 commission, then she would only owe $1,000. But just like Garfield doesn't believe in low-fat lasagna, the judge doesn't believe Regina did any such thing. And for that reason, she rules in favor of Raymond for $2,000. In his parting words, Raymond says he's happy, but that he could be happier because he paid $7,700, and that even with the additional $2,000, he hasn't gotten back what he paid for the ring.
Where's the
The
papers
ring's
on the
gone,
ring?
just
Where's
like
the
you are.
papers?
You're out of my life, buddy. See you later.
Enjoying the pod? Consider supporting us by sending $1 or $2 our way at tiptopjar.com/judgingjudy. Or don't, whatever. I'm not your boss. With our second case, we've got a very, very old plaintiff entering the courtroom holding a mildly unamused looking Yorkshire Terrier. The woman looks so frail, I'm not sure the dog shouldn't be holding her.
Good luck with that.
Helen, our old plaintiff, says that the defendant Michael sold her the dog, but that the dog has a missing toe.
He's given her a choice. Take the money or the dog.
Or behind door number 3, you could glue on a little fake toe and the dog will be good as new. Our defendant looks like he just missed out on being cast for the villain in any one of the Hannibal Lecter movies. He looks like a band teacher who was so scary looking you decided you didn't actually want to learn how to play the tuba. He looks like the kind of guy who goes into a grocery store and comes out with just 16 rolls of duct tape and 2 jars of rainbow sprinkles. Though Helen's initial visit to the dog's vet went fine, and the dog got a clean bill of health, 3 months later, the groomer gave Helen the bad news about the pooch's missing digit.
And you took the dog back to
The vet.
what'd the vet tell you?
He thought it was a generic dysfunction.
Helen says that after finding out that she got her just desserts for paying for a dog, she called Michael in his dungeon and asked for some of her money back.
Because she wasn't the dog that I thought she was.
Shut up, you idiot. Number one, there's nothing wrong with the dog. There's something wrong with you. Number two, you didn't notice anything off about the dog for months. Number three, a dog is not the sum of its toes. Assuming you like it at all, assuming you're capable of emotions beyond greed and avarice, the love you felt for the dog wasn't based on how many toes you thought it had. Helen, the horrible human being, says she paid $775 for the dog and wants $700 back because the dog can't be bred. And I hope Helen has never bred.
Now, your complaint says $750 that you gave him for the dog.
I gave $775.
It's so important to you, you can't even get the amount right. You're a fraud, you're a joke. Go fall face first into a mud puddle. Michael, who gives even inanimate objects nightmares, says that he'll refund Helen her 40 pieces of silver so long as he gets the dog back.
That's the last thing you should do.
As I like the dog. I know the dog is the lines on the dog, and I had no problem. I told her that.
Now, I don't know if I can clip Michael again because my laptop actually started crying. Tears started bubbling up from the keyboard when Michael's voice crept out the speakers.
Frightening, isn't it?
Michael says he knew about the foot and told Helen that there was nothing wrong with it genetically, no doubt relying on his master's degree in biology from Transylvania University. He says the toe problem was a result of a difficult delivery.
To save the dog, I had to use my Kelly clamps. I'm a registered nurse.
And surely not one of those nurses that has an unusual history of otherwise healthy patients dying during routine treatment of unexplainable maladies. Michael continues to explain that in the process of the delivery, a few toes came off, but that the dog was healthy otherwise. And I want to be clear, I think he's the bad guy here too. We have two bad guys. I don't know which one's worse. They're just kind of different shades of black.
You could call in an exorcist.
Upon Judy's request, Bailiff Bird brings the dog over to the judge, who could do something quite wonderful at this very instant by taking the dog for good and never letting Helen see it ever again.
It'll be best for everyone.
We learn that Sophie is the dog's name. And again, if there is any God, even the Mormon one, Judy will never let Helen see Sophie again.
Many years ago, when I was a brand new bride, I wanted a Yorkshire Terrier.
And now we have the second part of the origin story. Didn't get a ring, didn't get a dog, pledged to destroy the earth as a result. Judy goes on to explain that her husband didn't want to pay $300, the cost at the time, so she found a way to circumvent him.
So I got in touch with a breeder, somebody gave me the name, and I said, listen, come to the house, bring me a puppy, tell my husband it's only $100. I'll give you the other money.
I'm not surprised that Judy too cavorts with breeders. She was the real villain all along.
And this dog, when it walked into my house, looked like a Yorkshire Terrier that had undergone chemotherapy. It was the ugliest sucker.
Huh. Yeah. So you've managed to insult those undergoing cancer treatment and dogs, all without telling Michael or Helen that they can go straight to hell. Well, I guess that makes me ready to make my ruling on Judy.
Guilty.
In the meantime, though, Judy says that despite the breeder's assurances, the dog's coat never came in, and so she named the dog Folly, which would be a cute story if the dog were a rescue. But as is, it only reveals the dark heart of the empty vessel named Judy Steinland. After that joyless detour, Helen insists she wants to pay less for Sophie, but not give Sophie up. She goes as far to say that Michael lied to her.
You took the dog to your vet, a trained, experienced vet. Oh.
I don't speak dog, but I think that growl meant that Sophie thinks Judy, Michael, and Helen should get hit in the nose with a newspaper. After some more bickering, Judy gets Helen to say that, given the choice of just the money or just Sophie, she'd prefer to have Sophie. To which Judy says Helen made the right decision and dismisses her case. Now we come to the part of the show that matters more than every other part of the show. Now I judge Judy. Of course, I've got ways I do this. I got rules and criteria. I got a whole rubric. But what it all comes down to is justice. Did Judy deliver justice to the plaintiffs, to the defendants, to you, and to me? Because if she did, she's innocent. But if not, she's guilty. Now, I was prepared to rule in favor of Judy based on case number 1. I think she managed to navigate an odd case that may have been ridden with real criminal fraud. I don't know exactly what transpired between Raymond and Regina. I don't know if Regina paid her ex-boss a commission or not. But I do know that Raymond got most of his money back, as he probably should have. And Judy delivered that fair decision without being annoying. And that's worth a $1,000 commission if you ask me. So like I said, I was prepared to find Judy innocent. But then we had case number 2. And virtually without exception, I'm always going to be swayed when breeders or people who buy from them enter the courtroom. In this case, we had both, and we found out that Judy buys from breeders too. That's unforgivable. That's not just, that's wrong. Maybe Judy could have improved her standing in my eyes, which everyone ought to want to do. Maybe she could have done that by taking some time to call out Michael and Helen for their various misdeeds. But she didn't. And for those reasons, today, Judy is guilty. That sound means it's time for Hangman, but this is not the Hangman you played as a kid when you really ought to have been laundering lunch money. No, this is Hangman with stakes. And this week, we're putting Roman numerals up on the gallows. Though their original purpose has been lost, archaeologists tend to believe they were intended just to be difficult for elementary school students to learn. Today, Roman numerals have been repurposed to serve as accessories for grandfather clocks, Super Bowls, Rocky movie titles, and copyright notices. And these M's, D's, C's, I's, V's, L's, and X's will continue to be of limited use if I win Hangman today. But if I lose, people will have to find some other way to pretend to count things in a fancy way. Maybe tally marks? Maybe dots? Maybe it's just Roman numerals time to go. Just as the American experiment has clearly reached its end, the Roman Empire has been gone for centuries. Maybe it's time for their letter-based numbers to go too. Now, as always, I'm using hangmanwords.com, and this week, I'm going back to their music words list, and as a reminder, I can make 6 incorrect guesses, 6 letters that aren't in the word until I lose. And finally, this is an audio medium. Deal with it. All right, so our answer here, which is coming from their music words list, is 2 words. The first one is 7 letters, and the second word is 5 letters. In tribute to the word 5, I'm gonna go with the last letter in 5, which is E. There are 2 E's, the second letter in the first word and the penultimate letter, the next to last letter in the second word. Let's keep things going with another letter that's in E. Not another letter that's in E, another letter that's in 5 rather, I. No I, which I deserve. I deserve after flubbing that, I apologize. So I have 5 more incorrect guesses, and my little hangman here has a head. Let's go with R, as in, really? There must be an R in these words. And there is, there's one R. The penultimate letter of the first word. So blank E, blank, 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 R blank, space, blank, 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 E blank. Let's try T, as in one of the things that people drink. There is no T. Okay. So I have 4 more incorrect guesses, and my hangman has a torso. Let's go with B, as in ba 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 ba. There's no B. There's no ba 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 ba. Okay, let's go with S. There's no S. I only have 2 more incorrect guesses. Whew, this is getting bad. We're gonna go with N. I need an N here. 2 N's. Blank E, blank N, blank R, blank. Space, blank, 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 E-N. Huh. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with A. There's an A. Blank E, blank N-A-R, blank, space, blank, 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 E-N. I'm gonna try D. There is a D. Blank E, blank N-A-R-D, space, blank by blank E-N. I feel like that first word might be Maynard. No, it is not. So I have 1 more incorrect guess. Oh, it's Leonard Cohen. Have I had Leonard Cohen before? I feel like I have. O-L, there's the O-C-H, hallelujah. Even though I really didn't want to save Roman numerals, I did. I did a bad thing while doing a good thing. I saved them. So, you're welcome. And the next time you want to inconveniently count something, you can thank Leonard Cohen. He is the hallelujah guy, right? Or am I wrong? Am I crediting the wrong? I think he's hallelujah, right? Anyway, yeah. It's hallelujah. So hallelujah, we did it. And now we all get to continue to suffer by using letters for numbers. So the next time you don't know when It's a Wonderful Life was copyrighted, you can thank me, you can thank the Judging Judy pod, you can thank Leonard Cohen. With our last few moments together, I just want to share an out-of-context quote from Judge Judy. Women, it seems to me, want to be liked more than they want to be respected in business. That's it. Fornicate, share, like, and subscribe. But whatever you do, don't pay your ex-boss a commission for your engagement ring.